The Philadelphia Flyers, the 7th overall pick in the 2023 NHL Draft, selected right wing, left-handed Matvei Michkov. Boy, is that an exciting thing to say out loud. I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't think it was going to happen. I mean, we've been talking about this podcast with Vasili and I, if you guys have been listening along, quite a bit about if he's available 100%. We've been saying that for months. We weren't saying that like recently. Actually, beginning of the season, we said if the Flyers are and he's available for some reason, this is a caliber player that, look, it's been emphasized all, I guess, draft period that this guy is the second most talented guy. If he was born in a different country, it would have been Connor Bedard, Matvei Michkov draft. The other guys are still exceptional. Leo Carlson, Adam Fantilli. I'm actually very shocked he dropped to third. These are exceptional draft picks. Most of the time, Fantilli is good enough to be a first overall pick. Carlson's good enough to be a first overall pick. Michkov's good enough to be a first overall pick. Bedard's obviously good enough to be a first overall pick. This is just a very strange draft with a lot of depth at forward and a lot of high-end skill. It's not going to be all throughout the draft, right? Like beyond the first round, second round, obviously it starts to normalize, but the guy you're taking at 7 is normally a guy to be available in the top 3. And then in any other draft. And I'm going to read some stuff out here about Michkov. And I really want to emphasize, I was very excited when this pick was made. I didn't think it was going to happen. I really believe that the Flyers, even when Arizona picked Simashev, or I believe that's his name, the Russian defenseman, I was still like, oh man, are the Flyers going to go for Leonard? We had this moment with Cole Caulfield where the Flyers went for Cam York. Again, a great pick, but we passed up on the more exciting player. And in this case, we did not. And, Danny Briere even looked nervous kind of saying it out loud. I am not nervous. I think this was absolutely the right pick for the Flyers. I'm really excited. So let me read some stuff out. This is Elite Prospects. I took it from their video, and I just want to read out loud for those who are not aware of it. It's just, when you hear the resume compiled together, you're like, this guy is not a number 7 pick. This is a first overall generational franchise-level prospect that without the Russia risk, that it's not a question. Look, I don't know about his two-way game, and I will learn a lot more about him and every other pick that is taken. And I will give you a more accurate estimation of what I really think the player is. Right now we're starting early. But I think this is pretty accurate. So this is something he's known for. Again, shout out to Elite Prospects on this one. Most points ever by a D-2 in MHL history, 56 points in 56 games. D-2 means your draft -2, so meaning he was about 15 years old, something like that, 16 years old. Again, MHL is the, the prospects program for the Russian league. So amongst prospects, he was already a point per game player, so most ever by D-2. Youngest player ever to suit up for the Russian national team. Again, this is ever. And when I say this stuff out loud, Ovechkin played there, Kucherov played there, Panarin played there. Again, think about Pavel Bure, Alexander Mogilny. Like, you can go all throughout history. Evgeny Malkin, right? Elite, top of the league, all-class players that we're listing out loud here. Best under-17 goal scorer in MHL history. Highest scoring rate for an under-18 MHL player. Highest scoring rate for a draft year player in the VHL. VHL is kind of like the AHL for the KHL. Most goals in the draft year eligible in the VHL. So again, most goals. Think about the Russian goal scorers that have existed. Just think about that. Like, Ovechkin might end up being the highest goal scorer of all time. Highest scoring rate for a D1 KHL player. So draft -1 KHL player. Highest scoring rate for a draft minus KHL player. Think about that. This is the best offensive prospect in Russian history. Highest scoring rate for a draft year KHL player. Again, doing it. And then World Championship 18 MVP. Best forward, most points, all-star team. Second highest goals total for a 16-year-old at the the under 18s, most points at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. So as you can see, just nonstop. There's most goals, most points, just pure domination. And then a nice little detail, and I love this. If you compare the KHL draft year numbers, and Alexander Ovechkin in 53 games had 13 goals, 11 assists, 24 points for a .45 points per game. And again, this is their draft year. Matvei Michkov in 30 games, so he got to play less games. He had 9 goals, 11 assists, 20 points for a .67 points per game. Again, draft year, same league. Look, again, that's larger than Alexander the Great. I don't know if it's going to manifest to it exactly Alexander the Great. Again, Ovechkin is a powerful skater, right? He's got a lot of power and all that, but look, this kid's in the same class. And if you look at his, this is a really silly stat that I want to label out loud. I don't even know, because I don't know these leagues that well, and we'll learn more about it as we, learn more about him as we move forward. But when he played in Locomotives, which that is one of the KHL teams, under 16 squad, he was captain of that team, and this number is comical. In 26 games, he had 70 goals. Again, this is amongst his peers. 70 goals and 39 assists. 109 points in 26 games. Again, it doesn't translate to when the league gets more difficult and he starts playing against men. But again, on the under 16, that's why this kid is able to break in. He is way ahead of schedule. So the same way you're excited about Bedard, look, I'm not saying he is Bedard, but his numbers are stupid. Again, yeah, by far the highest draft year KHL points per game, higher than Tarasenko as well, who's up there, higher than Kaprizov, higher than Panarin, higher than Kuznetsov, higher than Kucherov, and better draft minus 1 year than all of them as well, considerably better, and better MHL stats also. So at every single level, he has outdone all of these players considerably. So I don't know how to take that. I'm not an expert on the KHL, but you can see why there shouldn't be a risk. I don't know the risk, but this is what I'll say. You need to get creative. If there's nothing you can do, then okay, you wait 3 years. The guy comes over here. He becomes one of your best players. You sign him. He's here. You make him happy. He migrates the same way all other star Russian players have. Right? Like this has happened with all of them. Even Nichushkin and what's his name? I'm forgetting the other guy from Nashville. They left, but then they come back. It's not like they disappear. And those are the worst case scenarios. The star players want to be here. And if he's doing what he's doing, you're going to pay him, right? If a guy's putting up 50, 60 goals a year, you're going to give him $11 million, $12 million a year. Like, it's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to pay the guy if he can do those type of seasons. He's not going to want to leave. He'll make more money here. Better league. Better life. You know, you don't want to be in a war-torn country. So we'll see what happens. But if I was Danny Briere, look, I don't know what's possible. I'm not going to throw conspiracies out there or what's possible. Don't listen to me and go, oh, Yariv told you that you can buy your way out of this. I don't know. But I know that the Flyers are a very profitable team. They have money. There is a contract there. If you can get out of that contract, can you pay the contract? Can you pay the contract and incentivize them above that? Say, okay, you will make more money by him leaving today than you keeping him for the majority of his contract because he's going to come over anyway, and then they can make the argument, well, we're going to stop him. So who knows? But you try to make a business deal. Maybe it's not this year. Maybe it's next year. Maybe you just try to finish the contract early. I don't know. But the kid was here. I love that. I love that the Flyers met with him twice. Really exceptional stuff. And here's another quote. This is also Elite Prospects. This is from their 2023 NHL Draft Guide. The rare triple threat winger, Michkov is a constant threat to find the back of the net. His puck skills are near the top of the draft, owing to immense creativity, hip pocket handling, dexterous hands, and a never say die attitude, which, let's be honest, we love that. You may think you have him, but most of the time you really don't. His ability to problem solve his way out of the defensive pressure is at a level all its own. And this is my favorite line. Michkov creates plays on the ice that we can't even fathom from the benefit of a bird's eye view. So you can see this kid is operating at another level. Like what I've seen in the highlight videos, the shot is immense. The same way Connor Bedard can score those goals, he's got the same thing. That gift is there for him as well. He doesn't skate like Bedard. He's still a pretty good skater. Again, that can be improved. I don't know if he's ever going to be the fastest skater, but he's definitely plenty speed to get up the ice. His hands are phenomenal in tight and in open ice. In tight, it's next level. It's like Connor Bedard level. Again, he doesn't have that same explosiveness as skating that Bedard does, but, we'll see. The kid is still developing. He's only 18 years old. His shot is insane. You talk about fixing the power play. This guy, if he gets a shot on net, it's going in. He has an NHL shot today, probably capable of scoring 30 to 40 goals in the NHL. And I'm not exaggerating. I mean, that's what I see when I see it. Same thing with Bedard. Bedard, his shot is stupid. And I see the same thing with Michkov. The shot is stupid. The hands are stupid. The offensive instincts are stupid. Now, the defensive game is not going to be there. That's going to be the case with the majority of players taken, especially high offensive, high octane players. But it depends on him on how he wants to play. He could improve defensively. And I think that's important to see that he'll want to do that. There are some Russian players, his agent of which was one of the best two-way players of his generation, Sergei Fedorov. Fedorov was so good that he was able to play top defender on Detroit when they were a Stanley Cup caliber team. And he was a center behind Yzerman. And he should have been a number one center, but they both were. But he was that good on both ends. So I would hope that they emphasize that not to just master the offensive game, which you clearly have done, but focus on the D. Not to the same degree. Don't take away from the offense, but get as competent as you can be. Don't be a detriment, obviously, and have at least like the back checking down, because the back checking of somebody like Datsuk, that made him immensely more valuable. But there's obviously other players to look at. Kucherov is probably going to be a good example for him to look at around the league. Obviously, we have Ovechkin, who's a bigger player, but there are plenty of goal scorers, Panarin, Kaprizov. There are plenty of Russian kids for him to model and to be successful. And again, none of those guys jump out on paper as being star defensive players. Ovechkin was not. None of these guys were. It's about being explosive, exciting. And let's be honest, guys, this puts us on the map. This changes everything. Like, Cutter Gauthier is a great prospect. He will probably be a top-line player in the league. Maybe capable of 90 points, right? 80, 90 points. This guy is almost a guaranteed 100-point player. Like, if you draft, you still need a top center. Maybe it's Frost. Maybe it's Cates. Maybe Couturier is still there. I don't know. But you need a number one center. Maybe it's Cutter Gauthier. But you're talking about building a legitimate top line right now. And it's really exciting. And everybody should be really excited about Matvei Michkov. I mean, he's the most exciting prospect that this city has had, I would say, ever. Really. Like, if you really think about it, because we didn't draft Lindros. We drafted Forsberg that year. We traded for Lindros. So, like, once you got him, yeah, but we didn't draft him technically. We drafted a phenomenal franchise player. We didn't know it was a complete reach. And people didn't actually think that he was a phenomenal player when we drafted him. They thought he was going to be a good player, but they didn't think he was top of the draft type of guy. So, I don't know. Since Claude Giroux, you can throw Lindros in there. I guess he's developed. But this is the biggest name that we've had in a long time, and you can really sell him. And sell him the dream and let him know that he's going to be a branded icon here if he comes in and does what we expect him to do. And I think that's how you sell him to come here. I think he wants that. I think he wants to be a star. I think we're going to pay him like a star, assuming that he is a star. But, I mean, he looks phenomenal. I can't be more excited. I was definitely dancing around the room. I hope you're all more excited. We're going to talk about it more. We're going to have people on the podcast to talk about Michkov, and I'll watch more footage of him as I move forward. But welcome to the Philadelphia Flyers, Matvei Michkov, because, again, I didn't think you were going to make it here. Thank you so much for being open to coming here, because obviously that was discussed. And this is a game-changing moment. This is a moment of Flyers history. I mean, look, it could go bad. I mean, it's possible. I don't think so. This seems like a complete home run hit to me, and I expect that, the NHL is noticing now. Take it seriously, because this rebuild is not going to last as long as people think. That's great to see.